Hi, I'm Billy Mitchell of FedScoop TV. Today I'm here with Captain David Dermanelian, Commander of C4IT Service Center for the U.S. Coast Guard. How are you, David?
I'm doing great. Super. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here as well. Today we're here at the Security Through Innovation Summit, and we want to talk a little bit about just that, cybersecurity and innovation within the federal space, particularly from your perspective within the Coast Guard. And I want to start off by asking you a little bit about the $3 billion IT modernization fund that's kind of starting to pick up its steam in Congress, and hopefully we'll see it one day later in actual law form. But I wanted to hear what your perspective was on that. Is that a good thing? And if one day it does become an actual fund, and you had the opportunity to get some of that money, what might you spend it on?
You bet. So the idea of the government allocating an additional $3 billion really fits with the notion of a lot of times you have to invest to save, and so that's a very common understanding that that is a huge impediment for mid-sized agencies like the Coast Guard. There are times where we might want to, we know we can save some dollars, but we're going to have to first put some dollars in to get us in that that hump of investment before we can then begin saving downstream. So I'm also a huge believer that the past 4 years of budget declines for us has really drawn out some really motivated folks to help us innovate. So our Vice Commandant or Vice Admiral for Mission Support, Admiral Sandra Stowe's, one of her precepts is efficiencies through innovation. So Admiral Stowe's has made it a point to say, in this downturned economy and our budgets are lower than they were back in 2011, they've gone down slowly, the notion of leveraging that situation to innovate and to partner with industry to say, how do we survive and operate? And that may mean that there are some pretty interesting solutions out in the national industrial base. If we only present the problem set properly to our partners, they'll innovate for us, and we might be surprised at just how well they can provide us information services if we properly frame the problem for them.
Yeah. So there's this, major balance or pendulum, whatever you may call it, between information sharing and then actually protecting sensitive assets on the national security level. And that kind of shifts back and forth depending on, national security incidents or other cybersecurity incidents. And I was wondering if you might describe where you think that pendulum is right now. It kind of went strongly one way after 9/11, and it's kind of gone back now. Where it might be and kind of where you think it should be.
You bet. So the notion is that I come from the school that you can never over-communicate. The situation where we're in now, especially when you're dealing in terms of cybersecurity and what actions we take, all agencies and all major corporations, they have a privacy officer in the discussion early on. And in many cases, you'll also have to have a lawyer in terms of the government side right next to you as well to have a well-rounded conversation. So a lot of folks don't realize it today out in the general public that we are gaining and losing cyber terrain every day with our adversaries. So